webinar, this second thematic webinar of this year, which will be focused today on the higher education system in Nigeria and the opportunities for the UK system, for UK universities to collaborate more closely with our Nigerian counterparts. We've once again had a fantastic response to the invitation for this meeting, and it's great to see so many colleagues on this call. For those who've not met me previously, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Professor Richard Follett, and I'm chair of the University UK African Network. I'm the Associate Vice President International at the University of Sussex here in Brighton, and I lead their international work. Well, we're lucky enough today to be joined by three highly distinguished speakers from Nigeria who provide unique insights into the higher education system in their country. You'll recall from our previous webinar that we hosted Professor Sir Steve Smith, the UK Higher Education International Champion, who spoke about the government's new international education strategy and the critical role of Nigeria within it. Nigeria being one of 5 countries listed by the British government for system to system and deeper collaboration. Well, building upon that first webinar, what we've done today is bring together a number of key colleagues from the Nigerian system and from the federal level, but also at the university level, to ensure that colleagues from UK universities and Nigerian universities get a flavour of the opportunities that the Nigerian universities would like to prioritise. I'd like to thank at the very outset, my thanks particularly to Suleiman Ramon Yusuf, a close friend and colleague of mine, and from the National Universities Commission in Nigeria for his support, and colleagues at the NUC for their support in organising this event. We look forward to working together closely in the future. But before starting, we have a few items of housekeeping. As usual, please remember to mute yourselves at all times, and please keep your video off unless speaking. The chat function is open, and we encourage you to ask questions throughout the session. Richard Grubb and I will be monitoring the questions and will bring in colleagues as necessary. Please also note that we're recording today's meeting. If you have any difficulty posting questions using the chat function, please direct questions via email to Richard Grubb, which is richard.grubb@international.ac.uk. Well, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Professor Suleiman Ramon Yusuf. Suleiman is the Deputy Executive Secretary at the National Universities Commission, where he has been based for more than 2 decades. Prior to that, he was on the faculty at Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria in northern Nigeria. Suleiman offers a deep understanding of the Nigerian higher education sector and has been instrumental in recent reforms implemented by the NUC. Suleiman will outline the current priorities for higher education in his country, including the NUC's view on TNE, and importantly, how UK universities can collaborate meaningfully and respectfully with our Nigerian partners. Suleiman, over to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Richard Follett and dear colleagues. It gives me great pleasure to participate in this webinar. As far as we at the NUC are concerned, collaboration is key to our operations. North-South, South-South collaborations have turned out to be very, very important in the way we do our work. So it gives us great pleasure to share with colleagues in the UK our perspectives on collaboration North-South, particularly the aspect of transnational education. So we'll be delighted to make our intervention in this regard this morning. Now, if I may just make the presentation, we shall be looking at some aspects, particularly the priority areas for the National Universities Commission. By way of background, the National Universities Commission has a mandate by statutory declaration to ensure the orderly development of a productive university system that will produce competent human power that will be relevant to national development and global competitiveness. So we coordinate the universities in the country. Our key mandates, of course, revolve around quality assurance, especially, and then all aspects of quality in university deliveries. So now, in terms of priorities, of course, the Nigerian university system is a large system compared to others in Africa. We have 193 universities now. 99 of these are privately owned. So, but it's important to note that despite this number of universities, the system continues to grapple with the problem of inadequate access to education. So therein lies the opportunity for collaboration to enhance access. And of course, as a regulatory agency, we have a responsibility to ensure that this attempt to bridge the gap between demand and supply for university education, the efforts themselves do not lead to compromisation of qualities, the quality of education. So while trying to strike this balance, we work with the universities in Nigeria and partners abroad to see how we might expose more of our young people to quality education. Now, so what are our priorities for higher education? The priorities of the National Universities Commission, which of course will be Nigeria's priority for university education, covers the dimensions of quality, access, relevance, and all other attributes of a sound university or education system. Now, so our activities right now focus more in terms of curriculum reengineering in line with the blueprint. We have a blueprint for the rapid revitalization of university education in Nigeria, covering the period 2019 to 2023. Now, so for us, in terms of the issues of collaborating with UK universities, our interests will be largely in the area of integrating ICTs into teaching and learning. Of course, these are efforts that have been ongoing. This is an effort that has been ongoing. And of course, the efforts themselves became more urgent given the advent of COVID-19. And I must tell you that COVID-19 has catalyzed the conversion of skeptics into believers in terms of the power of technology in the delivery of education. So in this regard, of course, we are open, as usual, to collaboration with partners from the UK and elsewhere to help us mainstream through capacity building the integration of ICTs into teaching and learning. And of course, teaching and learning is meaningless if learning doesn't take place. And the quality of these interactions is critical for us as a system. That is why we have also prioritized pedagogical training. Professor Richard Follett can confirm, because we have some very solid relationship with the University of Sussex pertaining to pedagogical training and continuing professional development for teachers in the university system. Now, so this is one of our priorities, you know, and of course, this includes the broad spectrum of teaching, modern teaching strategies to cover dimensions of inclusiveness, equity, and so on. So this is one of our priorities. Now, apart from this, of course, the tripodal responsibilities of universities includes research. And there's no need to overemphasize the fact that we do have lots of gaps in terms of where we are as a system from the perspective of research, particularly research and innovation that will lead to goods and services. One of the weaknesses in the system has to do with the ability of academics to write grant-winning proposals. Therefore, collaboration in this area is also useful because many of our universities will benefit from the experiences of UK universities if we have some partnerships that will help continue to build capacity of researchers, particularly our young researchers. And in terms of research itself, there are so many areas of collaboration that have great promise. Of course, our emphasis will be in the STEM areas, but generally research collaboration will be a priority area for us. So we look forward to partnerships between Nigerian universities and their UK counterparts in deepening research in identified areas where our universities have mutual interests with the UK partners. So this will be some aspects of our priorities. And of course, in general terms, collaborations of this nature should be two-way traffic. So we are looking forward to interactions that will lead to learning on both sides, as it were. Now, so in terms of our priorities for international collaboration, I have said that for us at NUC, partnerships and collaboration are key, not just because of globalization, but by virtue of our mandate as a quality assurance agency. We ourselves collaborate with virtually all quality assurance agencies across the globe. The QAA of the UK is a very cherished partner of ours, as well as the Council for Higher Education and Accreditation in the United States. So we are part of many international quality assurance networks. Now, for the universities themselves, as a system, we encourage collaboration between our universities and universities in the global north. Now, of course, it will depend on individual university missions because our universities are autonomous to a large extent, despite the fact that they are all subject to the regulatory ambit of the National Universities Commission. Each university is autonomous, but as a system, we have a lot of work to do as a commission in trying to build capacity and trying to build cohesion in the key areas of our university's mandates. Therefore, it will be safe to say that our priorities for international collaboration are in tandem with our priorities for higher education. So if we're interested in building capacity for effective teaching and learning, definitely this will be at the level of the universities. So as a result of this, we have over the years on our own and in collaboration with the universities, tried to create the enabling environment for matchmaking so that our universities and universities from abroad will have the opportunity to interact, sometimes in the same room, where universities come with their agendas and they discuss and find areas of mutual interest. Now, so in that regard, our interest for international collaboration, as I said, will cover the entire gamut of teaching, learning, research, and community engagement. But from the point of view of priorities, capacity building is key. We are keen on having system-wide capacity building activities targeted at improving pedagogy, targeted at improving research capability and research output, including, of course, research quality, capacity building that will enhance the publication of research findings, that will be in good journals that will have impact, both from the academic and the innovation standpoint. Now, so to do this, we are always looking for partners, and therefore I see great potential between Nigerian and UK universities when we build these partnerships that will cover the areas that I've already mentioned. So in that regard, we have an open mind as a system, looking for partners that have common interests to build mutually beneficial relationships. So this will be some of the critical areas for us in terms of priority, because already right now, COVID-19 has made the virtual interaction almost a way of life. And therefore, it will be useful to find ways to bolster the capacity of our teachers in larger numbers while we work at building the infrastructure to facilitate very meaningful virtual interactions for teaching, learning, and research. So this will be the key areas for us. Now, of course, the background of this webinar indicates, of course, the primacy of transnational education, both at the level of the UK government and also at the level of individual UK institutions. Now, so for us at NUC, we value transnational education, of course, being a signatory to the General Agreements on Trades and Services, the GATS of the World Trade Organization. We do have obligation and responsibility as a nation to facilitate trade, so to speak, in education through transnational interactions and transactions. So to prepare us for this, of course, we've taken into account some of the global best practices, such as the UNESCO OECD guidelines for provision of cross-border education. And therefore, we have been able to articulate our own set of guidelines. Of course, anyone who is familiar with the OECD UNESCO guidelines is aware that there are responsibilities for both providing importing and exporting nations, as well as institutions, in fact, including students. Now, so having taken all of this into account, the Commission has a revised set of transnational education guidelines. And of course, I know a lot of interest has been generated by partners across the world about the transnational guidelines for Nigeria. I would say in a nutshell that looking at the entire gamut of possibilities, for transnational education, and of course taking into account national interests as a developing nation, of course the guidelines are conscious of these contexts. Now, just for the purpose of this discussion, I would say that we have recognized, that's our government, the Nigerian government has recognized 10 models for transnational education. This will include twinning and articulation. This, of course, is a very well-known model of transnational education. So those guidelines, for example, will require that when you have twinning or articulation, if the degree to be awarded is that of a Nigerian university, then obviously the NUC guidelines for quality assurance and the curriculum will have to be in sharp focus. And of course, where the degree, in the case of twinning articulation, will be awarded by the overseas institution, the guidelines will require, for example, that the students in such programs should go to that country for a period of 2 semesters or 1 academic year for us to recognize the fact that this is indeed a degree that is awarded by that foreign institution. And of course, the second one is the branch campus model, which is very popular. Many UK universities have branch campuses in Dubai and so on. And so the guidelines make provision for this and the conditions are so stated. Then of course, the open and distance learning mode is a very well established mode. And I must say that looking at the variants of ODL, our system has established some relationship with the University of London, the external system, and we do find the model of the University of London very agreeable, given the fact that the stage of our technological development is not is not supportive fully of online education. But that is a statement that already, of course, itself has been reviewed along the lines of the realities of COVID-19. So the open and distance learning model is very well established, and for us, we will favor more of a blended learning approach because of our contextual realities. So our model of ODL is what we have labeled the ICT-enabled supported blended learning, because there's a small element of pen on paper examination, and where possible, some face-to-face, minimal, very minimal face-to-face interaction. Then, of course, the fourth model is the joint or parallel degrees. These ones are also self-explanatory. These are well-tested models. Then, of course, we have some new models such as acquisitions or mergers, where an overseas university may work to acquire some, ownership, part ownership of an existing Nigerian university, depending on what the legal and financial arrangements are between the two institutions. Our job will just be to ensure that there is fair play and quality is not compromised, and Nigerians are not shortchanged. Now, so the sixth one will have to do with affiliations or networks, where not-for-profit institutions or the non-traditional providers can form themselves into networks, work with some of our institutions for purposes of delivering accredited courses and so on. Then the seventh model is the teaching institution. This appears to be one of those we are working with in London on, where the University of London external system identifies one or two universities in Nigeria, assess their facilities and their human resource capabilities, and decides whether or not they have what it takes for students to take some of their courses by the awarding institution, which may be, for example, the University of London. And of course, there's the teaching centers, which is a variant of the teaching institution. All of these details are contained in our guidelines. And of course, there's room also for independent institutions, which may not be universities, but can work with universities for purposes of delivering some courses. Then the 10th and not the least, of course, is the for many years, we did resist the franchising option, but for one of the models that are possible in our revised guidelines. So those are some of the models of TNE that are possible within the framework of our guidelines as we speak. Now, so we would like to say that these guidelines are in the final stages of approval, and we hope that in the coming months, we should be able to have this finalized. It's getting to the penultimate stage of our approval. And once the NUC board approves, then it becomes operational. I hope that in the next quarter of the year, we should be able to get this approved. Now, so those would be my comments concerning the models of transnational education in Nigeria. And of course, the ODL mode appears to be of great interest to many institutions. But I would say that the guidelines are very clear, but where there is room, we are looking forward to opportunities to interact further with our UK partners. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, we should be able to organize some matchmaking event with our partners, the University of Sussex, the UK, deepen conversation to lead to greater clarity on these models and how they might be operated and how the UK universities might participate. Now, for the ODL mode, as I said, we have a model of open and distance learning. We are working on separate guidelines for online education, which is purely online. It's different from some of these models that we have mentioned, because some of these models have to do with face-to-face and a combination of face-to-face and online. But for the ODL, the open and distance learning delivery, the standards are very clear in terms of what the curriculum should be, what the delivery method should be, and so on and so forth. So I know that many Nigerians have been enrolling in programs delivered by the ODL mode from various universities. We have no problems with those programs, provided they are not offered by degree meals. So in all of our interactions, our expectation will be that all the universities that we shall welcome for transnational education are national universities in their own territories, in this case in the United Kingdom, universities that are recognized by governments of the United Kingdom, universities that have been accredited by the Quality Assurance Agency of the UK, for example. So these are, once these are established universities, it becomes much easier to expect fruitful
I think we have just lost Suleiman in his last throes of his speech. So what we'll do is we will move on and give an opportunity for Suleiman to rejoin us in a little moment. So our thanks to Professor Dr. Ramon Yusuf for his introduction to the NUC. I see a number of questions from Charles and Chris and Robert in the box. We'll come back to those if we can towards the end of our session. We want to turn now to practical perspectives on international collaboration, and first with a view from a public Nigerian university. And our next speaker is Professor Sagir Abbas, who is the Vice-Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano. And Bayero is the first university in Kano State, in of course the north of Nigeria, and it was founded in 1975. Professor Abbas joined Bayero in 1991 and became Vice-Chancellor in 2020. So our congratulations to you, sir, on your recent election. Professor Abbas has a deep understanding of education policy and has served as Senior Special Assistant to the former Minister of Education. Professor Abbas will now talk us through his experiences of international collaboration at Bayero and his advice for UK universities seeking partnership in Nigeria. Professor Abbas.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Bayero University, Kano.
Sorry, we better just stop there. Have you got two? Sorry, Professor.
Yes.
Are you using two devices at the moment? We've got some feedback.
Okay. Sorry.
We still can't quite hear you. Could you speak closer to the microphone?
All right. Can you hear me now?
It's not.
Hello?
We've got a lot of feedback, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, that's very good.
Yes. Bayero University, Kano, has been in existence for the past 45 years. At the moment, the university has 18 faculties, 2 colleges, 2 PG schools, and 14 research centers. The vision of the university is to lead the research and education in Africa, and our mission is commitment to addressing African development challenges through cutting-edge research, knowledge transfer, and training for high-quality graduates. Bayero University, Kano has quite a number of international partnerships. The UK has partnership with several institutions across the world, United Kingdom and United States. The institutions include universities, international research institutes, and private companies. The areas of collaboration are mainly joint research, joint supervision of postgraduate students, peer review of programs, joint trainings, and the exchange of students. Some of the prominent institutions in the UK to which we collaborate include University of York, University of Leeds, Rasmussen Research, University of Cambridge, University of Birmingham, University College London, Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, London School of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. Some of the collaborations we have with these institutions mentioned include for University of Greenwich, as it can be seen on the screen, we have peer review of programs of curricular student exchange currently at UUKi's PASET, which funded PhD students that are going through to Greenwich for sandwich programs. For the University of York, we have joint research in a project funded by Royal Society titled Improving Access to Clean and Modern Energy for Cooking while Reducing Land Degradation and Biodiversity Loss in Nigeria. From University of Leeds, we have a joint research which is titled Harnessing Benefits for Climate Change, Mitigation through Irrigation-Free Indigenous Tree Establishment, Sharing Knowledge, and Building Capacity. In Rasmussen Research, we have joint training, GCRF QR, which was funded or funded project, Research Tech Science in Africa, and UK Africa Food Security Symposium. University of Birmingham, we have a joint research in a project which is titled E-Motive on Bleeding After Child Delivery. In the University College London, we have a research which is conducted by on tuberculosis. We also have one with Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, where we have snake bite antivenom study. This study is coming to an end very soon. Last week, we had a meeting with the research group, and they are rounding up to close the program. Regarding UK's key priority areas for international collaboration, Bayero University value collaborations that directly address developmental issues. And at the same time, we want to build capacities of faculty members and students. With the current reality brought about by COVID-19, Bayero University Kano is now putting a lot of effort in developing its e-learning capacities and welcoming collaborations that will help in building the university's capacity in this direction. We also have joint, the university also in one of the key priority areas is joint grant seeking, applied research, faculty and student exchange, joint training and sharing of resources. This also, I think, this is another area where the university is focusing its attention. Regarding our experiences as an institution with our engagement with other partners around the world, we have positive experiences, which one of them include opportunity for staff and students involved in to gain new experiences and to widen their professional network. Another advantage, which is a positive experience for us, is the university benefited immensely with the establishment of 2 Africa Center of Excellence, Center for Dryland Agriculture and Africa Center of Excellence for population health and policy. These are 2 important opportunities which the university had in the course of its interaction with international community. Another experience which we gain from our interaction and collaboration with other partners around the world is increasing the visibility of the university, because out of this collaboration, a number of researches were produced and published around the world. So this, no doubt, increased the university's visibility in the world. The negative aspect of some of the collaboration is that Nigerian institutions sometimes is treated like a junior partner. This has been an issue with us because sometimes we are looked upon as junior to other universities. Also, the current real perceived insecurity in Nigeria is restricting a lot of collaboration from some institutions around the world. This is a very serious issue which worried all of us. And regarding what type of partnerships will work for UK institutions interested in working with Nigerian higher education, we feel that if we have joint grant seeking and execution of research projects, this is a viable area where UK and Nigeria, particularly Bayero University, can collaborate. We can also have joint supervision of graduate students. And also another area is joint publication, which comes from the above mentioned areas. In terms of exchange of faculty and students through academic mobility programs, the UK institutions can also take advantage of the 17 Africa Center of Excellence we have in Nigeria that may have research facilities to host a UK scientists and postdoctoral fellows. Bayero University, Kano, has a long-standing relationship with MacArthur. MacArthur Foundation has invested a lot in Bayero University, Kano, which led to the establishment of the Center for Dryland Agriculture in the first phase. The university received a grant of $5 million. Now, there is another investment in the university where World Bank is putting in about $11 million for the 2 centers of excellence we have. That is the Africa Center of Excellence for population health and policy and dryland agriculture. In addition to this, another investment which the university benefited immensely from MacArthur is the establishment of faculty of communications. This has gone a long way to boost the image of the university, in the sense that currently the BBC is collaborating with Bayero University, Kano, with the establishment of faculty of communication. BBC is now making Bayero University, Kano faculty of communication as a training hub for BBC correspondents in Africa. This, we feel, is something that is important to us. It will boost the image of the university immensely. And the BBC also will benefit because it will reduce costs of taking its members for training to the UK. At some point, in addition to what I've said above, the UK and Nigerian universities can look at possibilities of programs that would lead to issuance of dual degrees in our institutions. I think this will go a long way to boost both the image of Nigerian universities, particularly Bayero University, and it will expose our staff and students to excellent facilities or research facilities that exist in UK universities. So thank you very much for your attention and time.
Thank you very much, Professor Abbas. It's really very helpful to give you to get a perspective, not just of the public university sector, but also crucially, perspective from Northern Nigeria as well, which we very much welcome. Our final speaker is Professor Ademola Tayo, who is the Vice-Chancellor of Babcock University. Babcock is a private Christian co-educational university located in Ogun State between Lagos and Ibadan in, of course, the south and west of Nigeria. It is part of the Seventh-day Adventist education system and was established in 1959. Professor Tayo will provide us with some perspectives from a private institution in Nigeria, including his experiences of international collaboration and his priorities for Babcock's future international partnerships. Professor Tayo, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. I will want to share my slides. I will give a perspective from a private institution. Just like Professor Richard mentioned, Babcock University belongs to a network of about 127 universities owned and operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church globally. So we have our presence in all the continents of the world. And therefore, Babcock University believes so much in collaboration with institutions beyond UK. We have collaboration in Poland, in South Africa, in Australia, in the US, and all over the globe. Because we strongly believe that we say no to inbreeding, and we believe that there should be transnational exposure, there should be exposure to global best practices in higher education. I want to say what are the existing international partnerships that we have with UK in particular. The first one, I'm going to go straight to the 4 headings that I was given to handle. We had partnership with Lambridge Africa Alborada Research Fund, which is a research collaboration with the University of Cambridge. And that collaboration is still going on right now in the university. We also have a collaboration with Mr. John Olarawaju won a research grant on the project titled The Modulatory Role of Curcumin and Quercetin on Drosophila in relation to Parkinson's disease. Also, we had a relationship with University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom, where two of our faculty, well, about 3 of our faculty are working with the University of Edinburgh in the area of prospects and challenges of desertification on land and African agrarian economics in northern Nigeria. We also have a collaboration with the University of Sheffield and the Center for Advanced Medical Research and Biotechnology. We joined a partnership with the NIHR Global Health Research Group on preterm birth prevention and management, PRIME, at the University of Sheffield. 2 of our faculty are working with others in the University of Sheffield in this regard. Society of Applied Microbiology in the UK awarded research support to one of our faculty to cover consumables required to complete more aspects of the doctoral research of its supervisee in the area of food microbiology. So also some of our members, for example, one of them is a member of Society for Applied Microbiology in the UK. Also at the University of Hertfordshire, under the Erasmus Plus program 2019-2023, the Department of Social Work of Babcock University has entered an interinstitutional agreement with the University of Hertfordshire Higher Education Corporation, United Kingdom, under the Erasmus Plus platform for collaboration between institutions. Under this program, 6 postgraduate students are allowed to travel to the university in the UK for a 5-month duration each year, and 12 lecturers from the department are also allowed to benefit from a 7-day training annually under the Erasmus program. This is a 2-way partnership, which to us, we believe that that's much, much advantageous other than a one-directional collaboration whereby some universities just wants to see Babcock as a recruiting ground. That we rather prefer that there will be a 2-way relationship in the collaboration. Currently, Babcock is in the process of signing a memorandum of understanding with the University of Cambridge under the Teaching and Research in Natural Sciences for Development in Africa and Trend scheme. This collaboration is intended to promote partnership between the 2 parties in areas regarding equipment donation, academic exchange programs, and education in schools. Now, the next question is, what are Babcock's key priority areas? I want to say the first, which is uppermost in my mind, is capacity building for faculty and students through opportunity to provide environment mobility of faculty and students on exchange programs to and from the collaborating institutions. And the second one is access to foreign or joint facilities and equipment to bolster high quality research output. Attraction of research funds to the university through the partnership. Expansion of the research network of the university to help the school keep up with the best research global practices. And the next one is improved visibility of Babcock University for the global society to access the research findings and output emanating from this partnership. And of course, research publications in high impact journals. This will go a long way to help in the visibility of the university. The question is, what have been the positive experiences and negative experiences of this international collaboration? Number one is the exposure of faculty members to better training, which has in turn honed the research skills of faculty members and broadened their horizon. Those that have traveled came back with a lot of ideas to better improve teaching and research in the university. The next one is better visibility of the university to the global society. And of course, attraction of research funds to the university. Now, the negative experience is the benefit derived from the relationship sometimes could be lopsided. Just as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there are some MOU that are signed, and only what we see happening is that when it's getting to the time for summertime, we see some of these universities coming because Babcock students are coming from the upper echelon of the society, where the parents can afford to send their universities to Ivy League universities in the US and the UK. So, which is only recruitment, and that we feel is the negative side. We would have wished a relationship which will go beyond just recruitment, whereby there could be student exchange, faculty exchange, joint research, joint collaboration in many ways, which will be very, very symbiotic. Also, partnership which will facilitate the mobility of faculty and students to and from the intended partner UK institutions. We are looking for type of partnership which we foster inter-university cooperation between intended partner UK institution and the Nigerian Higher Education Institute for the sharing of best global practices to help Nigerian universities serve their local communities better now and in the future, particularly in the area of tan and gown. We're also looking forward for partnerships which provide scholarships to faculty members of the Nigerian higher education to equip them with the latest skills and techniques, cutting-edge techniques needed to carry out cutting-edge research. We're also looking for partnership that can upskill the professional capacity of faculty members in professional programs. And of course, partnership that will close the lacuna between the industry and the academia in Nigeria to bolster the research productivity of Nigeria. And in this area, I will lay emphasis on the ability, the re-engineering of our curriculum in such a way that graduates from our university will be able to fit into the labor market without any problem. So far now, there had been a sort of a gap between the academia and the industry. And many a times, some graduates are not able to fit in properly to the world of work. And we believe that when there's a partnership which we involve the looking at our curriculum to be able to ensure that the courses are courses that will be able to be beneficial to the outside world. That will be the type of partnership we're looking forward to. Once again, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your excellent presentation on the needs of colleagues at Babcock University. We have about 5-7 minutes for some questions now. And during the presentations, we've had a number of questions raised in the chat box, which I'll try and condense here. And I think first, Suleiman, if I could ask you on behalf of the NUC. First and foremost, colleagues were asking, is there a document, a paper that you can share with UK university colleagues now, listing the kinds of TNE opportunities that you can pursue in Nigeria? Suleiman.
Yes, I think it's the same document which I've shared with you. The only problem with it is that we can share it as a draft because it is yet to be approved. That it's possible to share it as a draft. We have shared with British Council colleagues and so on because it's not likely to change. It's just that it has to go through the formal process of approval.
That's really helpful. Thank you. Another question in the chat box was, what is the NUC's position on recognizing programs which are studied online at the moment?
Well, I don't know at what point my presentation was disconnected because I had some issue. But the point is, as I was saying in my presentation, there are some well-established distance learning institutions across the world. Now, if a Nigerian citizen enrolls at a university abroad and has a qualification which was done entirely online, as far as we are concerned, we are not responsible for the quality of such program because we have not accredited the institution. So it is entirely up to employers of labor to evaluate the qualification and see whether such people are acceptable to them. That's our position, because you cannot make comment on programs you didn't run. So, but if such an institution were to operate within our jurisdiction, then of course the institution in question will have to comply with our guidelines, including good quality assurance requirements. So that's why there are many Nigerian citizens who are enrolled in all manners of University of Phoenix, all sorts of university programs. They cannot refer to us for the quality because we are not part of the program.
Perfect, thank you. And one final question to the NUC from Robert Skelton at Hull. Can you just remind us what is the role of the NUC in approving agreements between two universities? So let's say Hull University and Babcock University. Does the NUC need to approve those programs?
Well, for the avoidance of doubt, when it comes to MOUs between autonomous institutions, our interest is largely to ensure that, there are no MOUs between institutions and Nigerian institutions if those institutions themselves are in countries with which Nigeria has no bilateral relationships. if we have no diplomatic ties with a nation, we are unlikely to encourage our institutions to deal with them because there are security and other implications. Now, so beyond ensuring that institutions do not commit themselves and by extension commit Nigeria through an MOU into agreements which they themselves cannot fulfill. So it is basically our role is just to mediate. If you have no approval to run, I mean, any institution can sign an MOU.
Yep.
As I always say, MOUs are the easiest things to sign, provided they can be implemented. And for us, if the implementation does not put Nigeria in a difficult situation, please go ahead.
Perfect.
So the short answer is you don't need our approval, but we would like to know what our universities are doing from those perspectives only.
Perfect. And presumably when it involves a teaching program, that changes slightly with the NUC having a larger role.
Yeah, we don't. In fact, we're hardly signatories to any of those MOUs anyway. So
okay. Perfect.
We are not complicit in whatever happens. But what is of interest, if areas of the agreement are likely to impinge on some aspects, then we have a job to advise the universities to reconsider. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Ramon Yusuf. Very helpful as always. Then there are some questions, and in our remaining couple of minutes, maybe I can turn to our Vice Chancellors. There are questions in the chat box about main areas of research. What are your priorities for research areas? We have universities representing all of the UK here, ranging from art schools through to multi-faculty universities. So Professor Abbas and Professor Tayo, maybe I can ask you, what are your priority areas for research collaboration at this moment? First, Professor Abbas. Professor Abbas, are you still with us? If not, perhaps Professor Tayo could answer.
Well, I think our research priority areas include the area of biotechnology. We will also be very much interested in our boarding School of Medicine. We have Benjamin Carson, the School of Medicine, which is just coming up. And that's where we had a good relationship with the University of Sheffield. So we are open to have a research collaboration in the area of medicine, malaria prevention, and so many others. And of course, because of the incursion of COVID-19, we are very much interested in ICT, so that we'll be able to lift our information technology program to a level that will be at par with any universities or in the wide world. So those are the areas of priority. And of course, agriculture. We want also to, in order for us to be able to have a food security in the country, area of interest in research and agriculture will be also a welcome idea. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Professor Tayo. Professor Abbas, do you wish to join us?
Yes. Bayero University is deeply interested in collaboration in the following areas. Number one, food security, poverty alleviation, livelihood, and sustainable development, health care delivery, energy studies and environmental management, venture creation and entrepreneurship, language and social reorientation, legal and governance systems, and finally, technology development and deployment. These are the areas where the university is deeply interested in collaboration with any university in the UK. The university is ready to sign an MOU, an agreement in those areas.
Thank you so very much, Professor Abbas. And I'd like to bring our session now to a close and express our sincere thanks to the two Vice-Chancellors, Professor Sagir Abbas of Bayero University, Kano, and Professor Ademola Tayo of Vice-Chancellor of Babcock University. And our sincere thanks as well, and most fundamentally, to Suleiman Ramon Yusuf from the National University Commission. He is a close partner and friend of British universities, and indeed of us here at the University of Sussex. The NUC, as many of you will know, is also located, it has an office in the Nigerian High Commission in London, and we are delighted from Richard Grubb and myself's perspective, we were delighted to be welcomed just last week by the newly incumbent Nigerian High Commissioner. So we look forward to building upon this session, and as Suleiman observed, really trying to work through some matchmaking sessions between Nigerian universities and British universities. But thank you so very much for attending this webinar. We're currently finalizing details for our next full network meeting, which will take place in September, and further details will follow, including a poll related to the possibility of in-person meetings in the new academic year. My colleague and Richard Grubb will be in touch next week with further details and with a follow-up to today's meeting. So on behalf of all of us here at the Universities UK International's Africa Network, thank you to our colleagues from Nigeria for attending today. Thank you to all of you for attending today from the UK. And we look forward to building upon this to fruitful UK-Nigerian collaborations. Thank you so very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.